You are now watching The Queen Chama. So hey guys, I'm back with another video. So tonight's video is yet again another Chama Chats video podcast edition. So by the title, we're going to be talking about Reginae Carter being bullied into getting her breasts done. I've had this video sitting in my to-do list for a while, but I was recently influenced by fellow commentator and YouTuber Yanni when she made her video. And I did get requests to talk about this, so I did want to cover it still. I agree deeply with Yanni's sentiments because I feel like this is a prime example of how bullying and body shaming causes someone to do the extreme. Reginae is the daughter of Lil Wayne, an American rapper, and Toya is her mother. I feel like Reginae and Toya have more of like a friendship than a mother and daughter relationship, but I don't judge anyone's parenting that harshly, especially because I'm not a parent. Toya did have Reginae when she was only 14 years old, so it explains their dynamic as mother and daughter, and Toya's openness and willingness to let Reginae do what she does as they are not that far in age. Now, Reginae was on the show Growing Up Hip Hop ATL a few years back, and I actually watched the first 1 or 2 seasons of the show. She has this bigger than life personality, and you can tell she's very outspoken and she likes to speak her mind, and honestly it comes off like spoiled and privileged, but in a lot of cases she is very humble, at least to me. Reginae is a dark-skinned girl. She is short and she has a thicker build, and I always thought she was very pretty, but I had to remember that now that some of us are teenagers and young adults in this generation, it's very hard to remain confident as a woman when it comes to our appearance. Reginae is a celebrity or a child of a celebrity who has been exposed to the limelight and the celebrity world her entire life. And some people think that having money, fame, and status absolves you from everyday problems, but it doesn't. No matter if you have money, fame, or status, as a young woman, body image, body confidence, and body positivity is still a struggle that a lot of us deal with. Now, Reginae recently turned 22 years old, and she debuted not only turning 22, but her new breasts and her new body. This caused some dialogue among fans and followers of celebrity news because Reginae has always been someone who seemed to be against changing her body through surgery. For the record, she's never spoken down on getting surgery, but she remained firm on not needing it for her body type. Reginae always talked about self-love and how she won't change for anybody, but she did go ahead and get her breasts done. She has frequently made Instagram lives basically condemning plastic surgery on her, or at least speaking against the people who are trying to get her to assimilate to what society deems an ideal body image.
I love walking in my own skin. I love my little boobs. I love my little butt. I love me. I love my little boobs. I love me. I love me. I feel like Chicago. I love me. I love me, baby. I love me. This is me. You're not gonna make me not love me. Okay? You're not gonna make me, okay? And if I do want to change anything about my body, that's on me. You will never make me change nothing about myself. I love me. Let me show y'all a no filter. I'm still pretty.
And that's a whoever in real life.
I'm like we're both still pretty. I'm so pretty.
She look like both.
Like super pretty. Look at my dimples. Bro,
I am super
everybody needs this confidence and like, bro, can't nobody tell me I'm not a baddie, bro. Can't nobody, bro. Nobody. This is me. Natural, pretty, lovely.
Yannick love the confidence.
Yannick. All my girls pretty. We naturally pretty. We are pretty. Look at my face, bro. Look at me. Damn.
Now, I'm going to keep it real. I can't drag her for changing her mind because I'm young and I change my mind a lot as well. But it does make her hypocritical. But I feel like the reason why this is happening is because of the constant bullying and body shaming she gets for being her natural self. I'm not surprised that she succumbed to the pressures of her naysayers because it happens to just about everybody. I personally feel like Reginae tries to overcompensate for the insecurities by always addressing people and being the most outspoken person within her group of friends. I personally feel like this is because she is a child of a celebrity growing up in a generation like the one that we live in. When you see her next to her other peers and counterparts, she is the darker one, the thicker one, the one with more Afrocentric features, and I feel like it gets at her and has been for a while. She's been the butt of so many jokes for a long time, even back when she was in the OMG Girls. Like, people would literally tell her that she's not cute enough to hang out with the friends that she has. But I always liked Reginae. I do think her personality is really big and for the most part positive. I think the reason why she's always been trying to act more grown than what she is because of how she's been exposed to a certain lifestyle that her peers haven't for as long as she has, as well as having the natural tendency to defend the people that she loves. She's constantly defending her father when he deals with bad press and media, which any little girl would. And even when she was on Growing Up Loving Hip Hop ATL, she definitely stepped up and spoke up about a lot. The thing is, you can't be strong all the time. Everyone battles insecurities and things that take hits at their confidence, and her body type and body shape has been one of them. So I've broken this video down into 3 main talking points, so let's get right into this video. So point number 1 is, I think this is a result of denial of insecurity. Like I said in my prologue, Reginae has a strong, vibrant, and loud personality. And oftentimes, those of us with this type of personality are expected to be confident and firm in everything in our lives 100% of the time. But in reality, there are things that affect everyone's psyche and confidence. I feel like she hung on for as long as she could, trying to deny certain insecurities, but eventually it got to her. Now, it has to be harder as a celebrity or influencer where there are thousands of people who make comments about you every day. Sometimes I go through my Instagram DM requests and I see the comments are so nasty about me, my looks, and my channel. And although I am quick to block and ignore, I don't receive nearly as much discussion as Reginae. Her video of her getting on Instagram to constantly address people who talk about her body was in reality a cry for help, if you ask me. When you address your insecurities to the public, unfortunately, you become a bigger target, which is why I encourage people to keep certain personal things off of the internet, because the internet is not nice. People will call you out for every little thing, especially when you're a woman and especially when you're a black woman. You can never win with the white or black media. I think she tried to camouflage her insecurity with this overcompensated confidence when she really didn't have to. It's normal to have body insecurities. Even the girls with what people deem the most ideal bodies still have insecurities. Using myself for an example, I am 5'10", I have a butt, a flat stomach, but I have a small chest. And my breasts aren't my biggest insecurity, but I feel like because I'm so long, it makes sense for me to have a bigger chest than I do. But I don't. I remember in middle school always saying that I would get a boob job when I was old enough. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like after I have kids, I probably will. But it's not that big of a concern to me to the point where I would actually make it a priority to actually do it. Like, it probably won't even happen. But looking at me, people think my body is so nice, but I don't like that my arms are so long and skinny because it makes my hands look super huge. I'm a size 10/11 in shoes, so my feet are big as hell. And I've always just felt too big and too long as a girl because men would make comments about me being a giant or not being feminine enough because I'm not the average height for a woman. It wasn't until I got on YouTube and started doing things to boost my confidence, like giving myself positive verbal affirmations, dressing for my body type, and overall not giving a flying fuck what people have to say about me most of the time, that I was able to build confidence and eradicate some of those insecurities. But that doesn't work for everybody. I never used to like being tall or somewhat flat-chested, but luckily for me, I was able to adapt and accept my insecurities. I always tell people to accept your insecurities so that you can embrace it. Once you accept your insecurity, you can embrace it by owning it naturally or fixing it to your liking, then embracing it. I would never suggest anyone to embrace an insecurity that they really don't like, because I feel like there are ways to fix every insecurity, whether they are natural or unnatural ways. Some people have an insecurity as being heavy set or overweight, so they run and get their body done, but you can literally eat better and go to the gym and constantly exercise to fix that insecurity. The problem with this generation is we don't like to take the time to do the work. We just want instant satisfaction. A lot of these things are easier said than done, but we all have insecurities and don't need to camouflage them for this artificial world. Social media makes us believe that we are not perfect to exist, when in reality that is so far from true. I feel like Reginae definitely tried to mask her insecurities in overconfidence, and she could have been very vulnerable, but I understand her place as a celebrity and how much harder it is to coexist with girls who are promoted higher than you just because they look a certain way. Now, point number 2 is I feel like she got bullied into doing this. Now, I'm not saying bullying to make an excuse for her. She is 22 years old. She made her choice to get them done. That is firmly her choice. But I genuinely think that this is why. Some people like to be internet trolls, and it's their so-called job to speak down on people constantly and harshly. But Reginae is a celebrity, so she's a bigger target. Imagine waking up every day to hundreds of comments solely about your biggest insecurity. Like, seriously, sit here, pause the video, and imagine waking up every day to hundreds of comments solely about your biggest insecurity. There is no way that any human being, whether it be a male or a female, can mentally take such a verbal, visual, and mental attack on a constant basis. I feel like a lot of comments are going to say, well, she should have just embraced her natural size and she was so beautiful before, which is very true, but that's easier for the everyday average person to say who's not being constantly bashed for what they look like, let alone whatever their biggest insecurity insecurity is. Especially in your early 20s, your insecurities are so much harder to deal with. When you're a teenager, the expectation to be curvy and thick or whatever society deems is the best aren't as high, as most teenagers are not making a lot of money and they're still developing. But once you reach the age of 20 and you're a solidified young adult, because I feel like at the age of 18 and 19, you know, you're still kind of a kid. You're just considered a legal adult. But once you're 20, trust me, you're still very young, but you've had some years on you to be considered an actual young adult. It's almost like being an upperclassman. But anyway, people expect girls in their early 20s to be mature women, physically endowed, and especially with most of the influencers being 25 and under for this generation, people expect all of us to look a certain way. And I feel like Reginae held off for as long as she could, but the bullying and the body shaming got to her. Some of us have a higher tolerance of dealing with naysayers, shit talkers, bullies, and insecurities, and other people can't take it and will do whatever to please their mental. With Reginae doing this, it brings about a major example of how many other girls her same age, her same body type, and her same mental capacity that exists amongst this generation. Reginae is not the first and will not be the last girl to fall victim to her insecurities, and people need to start acknowledging that insecurity exists within everyone and stems deeply from your mental health, which brings me to my final point. Now, my third and final point is that I think insecurity is a mental game. We speak a lot about mental health nowadays because it is less of a taboo, and I think people don't give enough credit to mental health playing a role in why we have insecurities. I remember I made a video about Queen Naija getting her body done, and I specifically said that she didn't need to get her body done and that she looked fine before. And I was attacked because people told me I shouldn't worry about what another woman does with her body, which I'm not, but I have every right to speak on whatever I want to, especially one that affects people just like myself. See how it did affect Reginae, so I hate those comments. But anyway, people also told me that after having kids, getting stretch marks, loose skin, and your body just being different as you age, it plays a deep role on your self-confidence. And confidence is an intangible aspect that exists in all human beings. And the direct opposite of confidence is insecurity. They literally go hand in hand. But with them being intangible, they exist in the mental realm of human beings. And I feel like for Queen Naija, she was small, she had a nice shape, even after her second child. But when you compare yourself to other women, it's hard to remain confident. And it's even harder when you compare yourself to your old self, because the mind tells you that there is something wrong or off because physically we've become accustomed to viewing ourselves in a certain way. Last summer, I got up to 200 pounds in weight. And yes, I'm tall, but I've been pretty thin my entire life until I got to college. When I got to college, I was probably around 155 pounds, 160 max. I don't even think I was that, but I'm gonna give it that credit. So last summer when I stepped on the scale at 198 pounds, I was like, hold on, what's happening? But the thickness did look really good on me because I am taller, so I have more body to like spread it out. So I actually embraced it. But deep down inside, I kept comparing my body to what I used to look like when I was a teenager. So I went vegan for 10 months, lost a lot of the weight, and today I'm 180 pounds and I feel like I look my best ever. But I also work out a lot as well, so that does play a role. I say all of this to say the mental aspects of insecurity and confidence go undernoticed because we as young women try to give ourselves instant satisfaction. Whether it means getting a full-blown surgery, altering our pictures, or other means, our minds are so strong and powerful that we all succumb to insecurities in certain ways. Maybe not as extreme as others, but I can't help but to think that the reason that young women are altering themselves is not solely based on social media pressures, but how our minds operate. It's an interesting and scary phenomenon to think about, but when we're being real, it's normal that it happens. We just have to find ways to be nicer, know that we all go through the same life experiences with insecurities, especially as women, and not be so hard on each other when we decide to make certain choices. Overall, I do like Reginae's new breasts. They actually look really good. Y'all, I was in ATL pretty much all of October, and when I tell you, it's super common for everyone to have their body done, and some of those girls were looking like Pokemon characters. So I'm glad Reginae looks normal. Some of her other celebrity/influencer friends cannot say the same. I know they're still healing, but I'm glad she kept it looking very reasonable. I'm not against any form of plastic surgery. There are high risks with it, and people should do their research before thinking it's just an easy fix to a complex problem, because it's not. Getting any surgery, but specifically a BBL, is an extreme and dangerous surgery, and people act like it's a simple procedure. I have 2 close friends that have gotten a BBL, and the amount of recovery that goes into it is something to think about. I wholeheartedly believe that getting procedures, whether they are minor or major, to fix a certain insecurity only fixes the physical aspect to the insecurity, but doesn't necessarily become a solution to the mental part of it. You have to conquer that mental part of your insecurity before you can even touch the physical, because your mind can influence you to make choices that can be detrimental to you or others. I think Reginae Reginae and many girls like her will progress through their journey of confidence. Confidence is a journey. It's not something that comes overnight. It's not something that comes quick. It's not something that is even stable. Sometimes you have confidence, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you spend months of your life being super confident and then something happens and now your confidence is at a different level. It fluctuates. It's not something that is easy and we all deal with it. And I hope that her getting her breast done, and I assume some lipo because her stomach does look a little bit more snatched than it used to be, helps with any insecurities and confidence matters that she was dealing with. So that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. What are your thoughts on my commentary? Please leave a comment down below. Don't forget to follow me on all of my social media networks, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.